I'm Kamali, taking you through the stories people are talking about and sharing around the world on NewsFeed today. Demonstrations in Jordan topple a Prime Minister, but the people are still protesting. We bring you the latest from Oman. Kisses, half apologies, and a request to be the poster boy for the campaign. We look at the actions of three powerful men in the wake of the Me Too movement. The Eagles will not be landing at the White House, but who cancelled the meeting? The NFL champs or the presidents of the United States? And just for laughs, a kid giving a speech at a high school trolls his classmates IRL. We'll show you the video. On top of our newsfeed is Jordan. Days of protest there have seen the Prime Minister forced to resign. Now, people showed their anger online and on the streets, and their cause was given support from the country's Crown Prince Hussein bin Abdullah. This is him talking with people at the demonstration in the capital. So what were the issues that brought Jordanians, particularly the young and women, out onto the streets?
The problem is not just the tax law. The Jordanian citizen right now, his pockets are empty, are completely empty. So the government has to listen to the sound of the people.
Most of the people demonstrating are not party members. They're not being pushed by unions. They're mostly young people who are unhappy with the fact that they don't have work.
And just what role did social media play? I asked Abir Ayub, who's in the capital, Oman.
I would say that people on social media were organizing the demonstrations and putting a list for places of assembly points, and then timing of demonstrations. Even if some people like yesterday, they weren't sure if there are some demonstrations, but there were some people who created events and with the exact time and exact place, and that made it very easy for people to gather. This is one. Two, also people shared photos and videos, and that was great for covering the protest. I mean, people from the Arab world are getting most of their information about the protest from tweets, Facebook posts, pictures, videos, and also the hashtags people used, such as Jordan Strike.
Absolutely. And Abir, looking from the outside in, it would seem to me that this is a very popular movement. We had the Crown Prince down with the demonstrators a couple of days ago being filmed. What sense do you get from seeing the way it's being covered on social media by all those posts?
This is a great example because it wasn't covered when Crown Prince visited demonstrators. It wasn't covered by official news agencies, but it was filmed by one of the people there, and it was shared, and it was spread very fast, and it motivated people, and people felt that they are supported, that the Crown Prince is visiting them. And this is one example, but it's not the only one. There are many pictures that really changed the track of demonstrations. Like, there was a great picture of one of the demonstrators doing an imam for prayers, and security forces were behind him for the prayers. That picture was also great.
All right, let's have a look at what else is trending on social media.
Is it working? I'm breaking up with you. It's not me, it's you.
Well, this is the World Health Organization's promo video to mark World Environment Day. The focus will be on humans' use of plastics. Now, it's become such an issue for many nations that they're banning plastic bags. So if you're offered one today, maybe think twice before taking it. And that message has greater resonance after a pilot whale died in the waters off Thailand. It had eaten more than 80 plastic bags. Back in April, a sperm whale was found dead on a beach in Spain with 60 pounds of plastic waste in its digestive system. And this is just before Ben Lecomte left Japan in an attempt to swim across the Pacific. He's 51 years old and plans to swim 8 hours a day for 6 months. He says he's doing it to raise awareness about climate change, so he picked a good day to start. Now, the number of people killed after the eruption of fuego in Guatemala has risen dramatically. People are desperately searching for those that are missing. Take a look at this. Now, the Me Too movement has had quite an effect in the countries where it's been taken on. It's seen Hollywood superstars brought down and has touched politics, business, and many other aspects of public life. It's been talked about today in the light of 3 important men and how they've dealt with it or not. Sarah Bolter takes up the story.
This is the story of 3 powerful men and how their past and present indiscretions can be seen through the lens of the Me Too movement. First up, President Rodrigo Duterte of the Philippines. He asked a woman for a kiss in exchange for a book, and she agreed. Reluctantly by the looks of it, and some people were angry.
That you can express or exercise your authority over another person, especially a woman, is entertainment. That's something really sick.
But his supporters say he did nothing wrong.
It seems like she was the one who even requested it. People are just putting malice to it.
The woman, identified as Bae Kim, said the kiss didn't mean anything, and she was okay with it. Next, former President Bill Clinton. He's had to face questions about whether he should apologize personally to Monica Lewinsky, the woman he had an affair with 20 years ago.
I dealt with it 20 years ago plus, and the American people, 2/3 of them stayed with me, and I've tried to do a good job since then with my life and with my work.
And he seems unwilling to do so. Miss Lewinsky responded on Twitter, but didn't mention Mr. Clinton, who later said he had already apologized. But the damage was done. And finally, we have Woody Allen. Allen's estranged daughter accused him of sexually abusing her as a child, allegations he denies. In an interview with an Argentine journalist, Allen said he should not be compared to people like Harvey Weinstein. Mr. Weinstein has been charged with rape and sexual assault. Allen claims it's good when Me Too finds people who harass innocent men and women, and that he should be the movement's poster boy. Now that would be a step too far for many, but the recent reactions of these 3 men, ranging from denial to attempts to be a symbol of the campaign, tell us their idea of Me Too still has a long way to go.
Now, the heat wave in Pakistan has caused dozens of deaths and led to some taking a kind of cheeky action to try and escape the heat. Take a look. Right, let's go around the world for some other stories you need to know this Tuesday. Now, Apple has taken on Facebook with the release of its latest operating system. The new Safari browser will stop the social networks like software from tracking users across the internet. It's that software which allows Facebook to sell targeted ads around your preferences. And these are historic pictures from Saudi Arabia. They show women who've got their driving licenses. The kingdom will lift a ban on women behind the wheel on the 24th of June. It's part of the country's modernisation plans. Now, activists who campaigned for the change were arrested a few weeks ago, but have been temporarily released. That's according to reports online. And the Tunisian football team have been preparing for the World Cup with a couple of friendly matches, and they had a good plan of breaking their fast while the game was on. Now, in matches against both Portugal and Turkey recently, the goalie, Wes Hassan, went down injured in the second half, and players rushed to the sideline to eat. Tunisia drew both games 2-2. And a man in Italy has taken a selfie as paramedics treated a woman who'd fallen onto the tracks and had been hit by a train. She had to have her leg amputated. The police caught the idiot taking the selfie and made him delete the picture. What's wrong with people? Now, the Super Bowl winners, the Philadelphia Eagles, are not going to be going to the White House to meet the president. Donald Trump has made himself part of the problem by insulting NFL players who have been peacefully protesting police brutality towards black people. The planned meeting would have been very awkward, and now Trump has canned it. Now, he's been trolled on social media by an aide to the mayor of Philadelphia, who posted this, saying their crowd was bigger than his. Remember, Trump is very sensitive about the low turnout for his inauguration. But how did the US reach a point where the champions of one of the nation's favourite games cannot meet their president? Here's how.
You have to stand proudly for the national anthem. Well, you shouldn't be playing, you shouldn't be there. Maybe you shouldn't be in the country. And the NFL owners did the right thing.
It's taken 24 days, but the internet can relax. Melania Trump is fine and has been seen in public for the first time in weeks. Now, this was the first sighting, there she is, of the First Lady. It was posted on Twitter by a reporter for the Daily Caller called Jenna Green. Now, Ms. Trump later wrote, "Tonight, POTUS and I were honoured to pay tribute to our fallen heroes. Thank you to the Gold Star families that joined us in celebration and remembrance." And Mr. Trump spent the day tweeting about everything: the Philadelphia Eagles, the Supreme Court ruling, his first 500 days in office, and the US economy. And the last time he did tweet about his wife, he spelled her name wrong. Melanie. And last up, there was some pretty funny IRL trolling at this graduation ceremony for a high school in Kentucky.
Don't just get involved, fight for your seat at the table. Better yet, fight for a seat at the head of the table. Donald J. Trump. I'm kidding. That was Barack Obama.
Well, the guy called Ben Bowling was giving the valedictorian speech and pretended to quote President Trump. That got cheers from the crowd until he revealed he was joking and the quote was actually from Barack Obama. They booed that. Well, that's your lot from the NewsFeed team. Reach out to us with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. As ever, I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. Follow, subscribe and add. See you again tomorrow.